Imagine the roar of the crowd, that electric energy just buzzing through a sweltering August day in New York City. It's Flushing Meadows, U.S. Open 2025.
Yeah.
And the air, it was just thick with anticipation. We were feeling this palpable hope that maybe, just maybe, after 22 long, agonizing years, an American man might finally claim a Grand Slam title.
That buzz was incredible. You really felt it. We were there, in spirit, soaking it all up, the air just humming with possibility.
But then, as the sun started to dip below the horizon on that Friday, August 29th, that possibility dramatically shifted.
It really did. Something profoundly unexpected, stunning even, unfolded pretty quickly.
And that's exactly what this deep dive is all about. We're going to try and dissect that specific day, the events that just blindsided everyone, really.
And how quickly those deeply held dreams, those fierce ambitions, can just unravel in the high-stakes world of pro tennis.
Yeah, our mission here is to truly unpack the raw emotion, the surprising turns, and maybe what these moments reveal about the very nature of sport itself.
Especially for these players at this moment, right? Not just in general.
Exactly.
So we'll be walking you through the heartbreak experienced by two of America's brightest stars, Ben Shelton and Frances Tiafoe.
And as we do that, we'll look at the broader implications for American tennis,
Yeah.
all set against that iconic and, let's be honest, often unforgiving backdrop of Flushing Meadows.
Okay, so let's set the stage properly here, because this isn't just another tournament for American fans, is it?
Not at all. The U.S. Open carries this incredibly heavy weight of history, that 22-year drought since Andy Roddick won, way back in 2003.
22 years, it's a long time.
It really is. And this year, the excitement was almost tangible. You could almost feel it vibrating through the grounds. We had 23 American men in the singles draw.
Which is impressive in itself.
Definitely. But given that long drought, how much of that sort of tangible excitement do you think truly translated into pressure on guys like Shelton and Tiafoe?
Oh, that's a great point, because it's not just about the numbers, is it? It's striking how quickly public perception, that national hope, can kind of coalesce around just a few key individuals.
Right.
So among that large group of American men, two names really shone brightest as the nation's torchbearers: Ben Shelton and Frances Tiafoe.
Yeah.
They weren't just players out there, they were carrying that collective aspiration,
Oh.
And the weight of that can be absolutely immense.
And, I mean, for good reason, right? You look at Ben Shelton. He's only 22.
So young.
Sixth seed. And coming into this tournament absolutely on fire. He just won in Toronto.
Huge win for him.
And he was a 2023 U.S. Open semifinalist, so he already shown he could perform on this massive stage. His booming serve, those fearless ground strokes, they just seem perfectly suited for the hard courts here.
Totally agree.
It really felt like we were seeing a legitimate contender in, well, scintillating form, didn't it? What stood out most to you about his game coming in?
He just had this undeniable momentum. That raw athletic power felt almost tailor-made for Flushing Meadows,
Yeah.
That energy.
Yeah.
And then you had Frances Tiafoe, 17th seed, 27 years old. He'd been a two-time U.S. Open semifinalist in the past 3 years himself.
Right, he loves playing here.
He does. His infectious energy, his flair for the dramatic, it makes him such a fan favorite in New York. That connection he has with the crowd, it's so central to his game.
Which actually makes what happened that day even more, well, perplexing.
Exactly.
So these two players, we felt, genuinely represented America's best shot at ending that 22-year wait.
He really did.
But what unfolded, within the span of just a single afternoon, well, as we've come to understand, it was a script nobody could have possibly predicted.
Not even the most dramatic screenwriter, like you said. It really catches you off guard when you think about how strong their positions seemed just hours before.
Okay, so let's start with Shelton. The day began with him stepping onto Louis Armstrong Stadium. Big stage.
Huge stage. His opponent was France's Adrian Mannarino. Crafty veteran, 37 years old, ranked 77th.
Right, so on paper, you'd think Shelton, with all his power, his youth, that magnetic personality, he's the clear favorite.
Absolutely. And the crowd felt it too. They were roaring with every single point he won, every thunderous serve. You could feel they sensed a star.
And it honestly started just as you'd expect, with Shelton kind of dictating the play. He took the first two sets with relative ease, really showcasing those blistering serves and forehands we were just talking about.
Textbook Shelton, those first two sets.
Exactly. Mannarino, who's known for his, let's say, unorthodox style and relentless consistency, he managed to grab the third set.
He hangs tough, Mannarino.
He does. But the momentum still seemed largely with Shelton. He looked like he was in control. So those first two sets were pretty standard, but then Wow, things got really interesting, didn't they?
Oh, they did. How did you perceive that shift? It felt palpable from the outside.
Totally palpable.
Yeah.
Early in the fourth set, Shelton's stretching for a ball, and he lands heavily on his left arm.
Oh.
You could almost hear the stadium's collective gasp as he grimaced, clutching his shoulder. It was such a visible, painful reaction.
You saw it immediately. A moment of silence from that usually incredibly loud crowd.
And he signals straight away to his dad and coach, Brian Shelton, confirming, "I did something to my shoulder. I don't know what it is."
Wow. Those words just hanging heavy in the air. A sudden cold dose of reality hitting everyone.
What happened next was, it was a display of sheer grit that really defines the spirit of an athlete, but it also raised so many questions,
It
right?
really did. He took a medical timeout, got his shoulder wrapped in ice, and came back out to fight.
But you could see the pain was undeniable. His weapons, those once booming serves and forehands, they visibly lost their zip.
Yeah, the speed just wasn't there.
And Manarino, being the savvy veteran he is, he sensed that shift in dynamics immediately.
He absolutely did. He pushed it to a deciding fifth set, leveraging every little bit of Shelton's discomfort.
It really makes you wonder about the long-term implications of Shelton's high-octane, power-based game.
Yeah.
Is this maybe the price you pay for playing with such intensity?
That's precisely the question, isn't it? This incident doesn't just highlight the inherent risk of injury in any pro sport,
Right.
but specifically for a player like Shelton, whose entire game is built on that explosive power. We're seeing this evolution in tennis where players are hitting harder, moving faster.
The physical demands are just immense.
They are. And for a young player still kind of developing his body, finding that line between peak performance and physical breakdown, that's a crucial, ongoing challenge. It's a really fine line.
And the most poignant moment, for me at least, came right as the fourth set concluded. Manarino steps off for a bathroom break, standard procedure.
Yeah. Happens all the time.
But when he returned, he found Shelton had made that just heart-wrenching decision. He'd retired.
His first career withdrawal due to injury. Just devastating for a young player with so much promise on that stage.
You could see it. As he walked off, towel draped over his head, his words just echoed the pain we saw. "I'm not a guy who would retire if I could continue." You could really feel that internal struggle.
Oh, absolutely. And Manarino, he was gracious in victory, but he admitted the circumstances were unusual. He said, "It's very unfortunate for him and lucky for me."
Yeah?
He even quipped, kind of darkly humorous, I guess. "I'm 37 years old. It's the first time I'm winning a match from the toilet."
Well, that's one way to put it.
It marked his first win over a top 10 player at a major in 23 attempts, finally getting him that long-awaited trip to the second week.
Winning from the toilet, that's a line that will definitely stick with us. What does that say about the mental games veterans like Manarino play, even maybe unintentionally, in these high-pressure spots?
It speaks volumes about seizing opportunity, doesn't it? Whenever it presents itself, whether it's through your opponent's misfortune or just a momentary lapse.
Yeah. But despite the heartbreak, Shelton's perspective after the match was actually really powerful. Showed a lot of maturity, I thought.
Agreed.
He said, "I was playing really well, I was in form, a lot of confidence, but I've got a lot to be grateful for. You won't hear me pouting about how bad things are with the summer that I've had."
That's impressive perspective.
His words remind us why he's considered such a cornerstone of American tennis's future, even as those questions about the physical demands of his game inevitably linger. It's a real testament to his character, isn't it?
Absolutely. That kind of perspective, especially right after a crushing injury like that, is pretty rare for such a young athlete. It definitely points to a deep well of resilience.
Okay, so that was Shelton.
Yeah.
But then, just an hour later, maybe even less,
Yeah, it felt almost simultaneous.
on the grandstand court, another blow landed, a sort of parallel punch to American hopes. Francis Tiafoe was facing the German qualifier Jan-Lennard Struff.
And going into that one, we were really anticipating Tiafoe feeding off that incredible New York energy, right?
Totally. Cruising past a journeyman who hadn't actually won a match at Flushing Meadows since 2020. The script felt written for him to advance.
But from the very first ball, it was clear this just wasn't going to be a routine day for Tiafoe.
Not at all. Struff, who's a powerful player, big serve, has a knack for seizing opportunities.
Yeah.
He came out absolutely firing.
He really did. Broke Tiafoe early, dictated play with aggressive ground strokes, pinpoint accuracy. He was dialed in.
And Tiafoe, usually such a dynamo on court, he just seemed Sluggish.
Sluggish is the perfect word, yeah. The crowd tried desperately to rally him, chanting his name.
They always do for Francis.
But Struff was just relentless. Took the first two sets decisively, 6-4, 6-3. It's so unusual for Tiafoe to seem sluggish in New York, though. What do you think contributed to that, beyond just Struff playing really well?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It almost felt like an internal battle as much as an external one.
Mm-hmm.
The third set did offer a little glimmer of hope. Tiafoe battled back, forced a tiebreak.
Okay, here we go.
The crowd was on its feet, believing maybe a comeback was possible, desperate to ignite that famous Tiafoe spark.
But Struff, even though he had a little flurry of late double faults, which made it nervy,
Right, gave a little opening.
he regained his composure and sealed the victory, 7-6-7.
Wow. So it was Tiafoe's earliest exit from Flushing Meadows since 2019. Just a bitter, unexpected pill to swallow for him, especially given his recent track record here.
And his post-match comments were just stark, incredibly honest, which, like you said, I always appreciate from an athlete, even when it's tough to hear.
What did he say?
He said, "It's going to be hard to swallow how I play today and being out of the U.S. Open for sure this early. I don't know how to recover from this, to be honest with you. I haven't been this down in a very, very long time."
Oof, that's raw.
It really is. This wasn't just physical like Shelton's situation. It raises that important question about the mental fortitude required at the very highest levels. Even the most experienced players can have these moments of just raw vulnerability.
For sure. Did he give any reasons? He later reflected on struggling with the slick conditions, apparently, and just failing to seize opportunities when they came. Was it the conditions, the pressure, or maybe something else entirely, do you think?
It's probably a mix of everything, right? It just highlights that even at the absolute pinnacle of their careers, these athletes are still battling internal demons and external factors, often beyond their control.
Yeah. And Struff, meanwhile, who'd already upset the 11th seed Holger Rune earlier in the tournament.
Right, he was having a great run.
He was understandably thrilled, but pretty measured in his excitement. He advanced to the last 16 for the first time in his U.S. Open career.
Which is huge for him.
Huge.
Sure.
And he had a daunting potential match against Novak Djokovic looming.
Yeah.
Just an incredible, unexpected run for Struff, proving you simply cannot write off anyone in a Grand Slam.
No, you really can't. So, stepping back now to consider the broader context of these twin exits happening within basically an hour of each other.
Yep.
It sent this ripple through the American contingent that was almost tangible. You could feel the mood shift.
Oh, definitely. It's truly striking how quickly that narrative can flip from, brimming optimism to just profound disappointment.
And out of those 23 American men who started the tournament, only 2 remained in the draw by the end of that Friday.
Just 2. With so many American men in the draw initially, does this kind of double blow feel particularly crushing, do you think?
It absolutely does. It feels like a real gut punch to those hopes.
Yeah. And suddenly the spotlight now shone incredibly intensely on those 2 remaining players.
Taylor Fritz and Tommy Paul.
Exactly. Taylor Fritz, the 4th seed, 2024 U.S. Open runner-up, he battled past Jerome Kim in a really gritty 4-set match. That was a display of mental toughness just to survive the day.
He had to hang tough.
And Tommy Paul, the 14th seed, he survived a grueling 5-set epic that ended at, 1:46 a.m. the same morning.
Crazy late finish. Talk about a fight. Those 2 really had to earn their spots in the next round after seeing their compatriots fall.
Okay.
So these losses, they didn't just highlight general unpredictability in tennis, did they? They acutely exposed that unique burden, maybe, on American men playing in a home Grand Slam.
Is it the weight of history, that amplified crowd expectation, or something else entirely that makes these moments seem so prone to unraveling sometimes?
It's probably a combination, but they definitely underscore the ongoing challenges for U.S. men's tennis. The weight of expectation, like we talked about, has often fallen so heavily on players like Shelton and Tiafoe.
And this day just vividly reminded us of the sport's inherent unpredictability. Injuries happen, upsets happen. They can derail even the most promising campaigns, regardless of talent or current form.
And it was fascinating, too, seeing the different roads to defeat, wasn't it?
Very different. Shelton's injury raises those clear concerns about the physical demands of his powerful, all-action game. That's something that needs careful management going forward, you'd think.
Absolutely. Long-term health.
Whereas for Tiafoe, it seemed more like a tactical and maybe mental misstep on a day he just couldn't find his rhythm, a struggle to ignite that usual spark.
Which is almost more frustrating in a way, right? Because it feels like maybe it could have been different if he'd just clicked.
Exactly. It felt controllable somehow,
Yeah.
even though it clearly wasn't for him on the day.
So yeah, August 29, 2025.
Yeah.
It will undeniably be remembered as a day of just sheer heartbreak for American tennis fans.
Oh, yeah.
Yet, even in those defeats, we saw character shining through, didn't we? Shelton's courage playing through obvious, undeniable pain,
Incredible grit.
and Tiafoe's raw honesty in reflecting on his performance afterwards. It shows us precisely why they are such beloved figures in the sport. There's a lot to respect there, despite the disappointing outcomes.
Absolutely. So now, Fritz and Paul carry that immense pressure forward. They're the last hope, for this tournament anyway, for a nation yearning for a men's champion.
And the U.S. Open, with its raucous crowds, the unique New York energy, it truly demands passion and fight from its contenders.
It really does. It's a stage where you either rise to the occasion, feed off it, or you can get swept away by the intensity. It's a test of mental fortitude unlike any other major, I think.
I agree. And looking at the wider implications for the tournament itself, well, the 2025 U.S. Open has already been a tournament of shocks, even beyond this day.
True.
We've seen top players like, Sinner and Alcaraz advancing, sure, and stars like Sabalenka and Coco Gauff shining brightly.
Right. The favorites are still there, mostly.
Mostly. But it reminds us that Flushing Meadows, with its unique energy, those fast-paced courts, it just has a way of leveling the playing field sometimes.
Yeah. Anything can happen there.
For every favorite who falls unexpectedly, there's a Manarino or a Struff ready to seize the moment to write their own unexpected story.
That's the beauty and cruelty of sport, right?
Yeah.
But beyond this immediate disappointment, you have to say the future for American men's tennis still looks bright overall.
Oh, definitely. Shelton and Tiafoe have years ahead of them to recover, learn, and grow from this.
Fritz and Paul are proven performers who could still go deep in slams. They've shown that.
And you've got younger talents like Sebastian Corda waiting in the wings, ready to make their mark too.
Exactly. Tennis, as we know so well, is a sport of resilience. Setbacks often pave the way for powerful comebacks, maybe even greater triumphs down the road. It's never really the end of the story, is it?
Never. So as the tournament moves into its second week, the story of the 2025 U.S. Open is clearly far from over. The courts of Flushing Meadows await their next hero.
And for American fans, the hope is just that one day soon, that hero will be one of their own again.
That hope springs eternal.
It does. And this maybe raises an important question for us to ponder and for you listening to reflect on too. How does a single day of unexpected drama like this, combining both a devastating physical setback for one star and a really uncharacteristic performance from another, how does that reshape not just a tournament, but maybe the longer-term narrative and trajectory of a nation's sporting ambitions?
That's a powerful thought to carry with you as the storylines continue to unfold, isn't it? How much weight does one day actually hold in the grand scheme of things?